Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Nande, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Nande, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Garadhara, Shri Vasudeva Vrinda. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Garadhara, Shri Vasudeva Vrinda. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, 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 Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Kora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayante.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Kora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayante.
The deliverance of the demon Baumasura. The story of Baumasura, how he kidnapped and made captive 16,000 princesses by collecting them from the palace of various kings, and how he was killed by Krsna, the Supreme Lord, of wonderful character, is all described by Sukadev Goswami to King Parikshit in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally, the demons are always against the demigods. This demon, Baumasura, having become very powerful, took by force the umbrella from the throne of the demigod Varuna. He also took the earring of Aditi, the mother of the demigods. He conquered a portion of the heavenly Mount Meru and occupied the portion which was known as Mani Parvata. The king of the heavenly planet Indra therefore came to Dwarka to complain about Baumasura before Lord Krishna. Hearing this complaint by Indra, the king of heaven, Lord Krishna, accompanied by his wife Satyabhama, immediately started for the abode of Baumasura. Both of them rode on the back of Garuda, who flew them to Pragyostinasapur, the capital of Baumasura. It was not a very easy task to enter the city of Pragyotisapura because it was very well fortified. First of all, there were 4 formidable forts guarding the 4 directions of the city, and it was well protected on all sides by formidable military strength. The next boundary was a water canal all around the city, and in addition, the whole city was surrounded with electric wires. The next fortification was anila, a gaseous substance. After this, there was a network of barbed wiring constructed by the demon of the name Mura. It appeared that the city was well protected, even in the terms of today's scientific advancement. When Krishna arrived, he broke all the forts to pieces by the stroke of his club, and military strength is scattered here and there by the constant onslaught of the arrows of Krishna with the celebrated Sudarshana chakra. He counteracted the electric boundary, the channels of water, and the gaseous boundary was made null and void, and he cut to pieces the electrified network fabricated by the demon Mura. By the vibration of his conch shell, he not only broke the hearts of great fighters, but also fighting machines were there and similarly the walls around the city were broken by his invincible club. The vibration of his conch shell sounded like a thunderbolt at the time of the dissolution of the whole cosmic situation. The demon Mura heard the vibration of the conch shell. He awakened from his sleep and immediately came out to see what had happened. He had 5 heads and long been living within the water. The Mura demon was brilliant as the sun at the time of dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. And his temper was like blazing fire. The effulgence of his body was so dazzling that it was difficult to see him with open eyes. When he came out first of all, took out his trident and began to rush towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The onslaught of the demon Mura was like a big snake attacking Garuda. His angry mood was very severe, and he appeared ready to devour the 3 worlds. First of all, he attacked the carrier of Krishna Garuda by whirling his trident, and he began to vibrate sounds through his 5 faces like the roaring of the lion. The roaring produced by the vibration of his mouth spread all over the atmosphere until it ended not only all over the world, but into the outer space, up and down, and out of the 10 directions. In this way, the sound was rumbling throughout the whole universe. Lord Krishna saw that the trident of the Mura demon was gradually rushing toward his carrier, Garuda. Immediately, by the trick of his hand, he took 2 arrows and threw them toward the trident, cutting it into pieces. Simultaneously, using many arrows, he pierced the mouth of the demon, Mura. When he saw himself outmaneuvered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Mura demon immediately began to strike him in great anger with his club. But Lord Krishna, with his own club, broke the cloud of Mura to pieces before it could reach him. The demon, bereft of all his weapons, decided to attack Krishna with his strong arms. But by the aid of his Sudarsana chakra, Krishna immediately separated the demon's 5 heads from his body. The demon then fell into the water, just as the peak of a mountain falls into the ocean after being struck by the thunderbolt of Indra. Now you see thunderbolt hitting the mountain. The demon Mura had 7 sons, namely Tamra, Antariksa, Sarvana, Bibalbasu, Basu, Nabasban, and Aruna. All of them became puffed up by the vengeful because of the death of their father. And in order to retaliate, they appeared in great anger to fight with Krishna. They equipped themselves with necessary weapon, situated Pita, another demon, to act as commander in the battle. So there was a war. Okay. By the order of Bhamasura, all of them combinedly attacked Krishna. When they came before Lord Krishna, they began to shower him with many kinds of weapons, like swords, clubs, lances, arrows, and tridents. But they did not know that the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unlimited and invincible. Krishna with his arrows cut all the weapons of the men of Bhaumasura into pieces, like grains. Krishna then threw his weapon, and Bhaumasura, commander-in-chief, Pita, along with the assistant, fell down. Their military dress cut off, and their heads, legs, arms, and thighs severed. All of them were sent to the superintendent of death, Yamaraj. So if we are demons, we're demons. If we are previously demons, then we experience God's power and anger, like Bhaumasura and all the demons. Okay? Bhaumasura was also known as Narakasur, for he happened to be the son of earth personified. When he saw all his soldiers, commanders, and fighters were killed on the battlefield by the strokes of the weapon of the Personality of Godhead, he became exceedingly angry at the Lord. He then came out of the city with a great number of elephants, who had all been born and brought up on the seashore. All of them were highly intoxicated. When they came out, they saw that Lord Krishna and his wife were beautifully situated high in outer space, like the blackish cloud about the sun, glittering with the light of electricity. The demon Bhaumasura immediately released a weapon called Satagni, by which he could kill hundreds of warriors with one stroke. And simultaneously, all his assistants threw their respective weapons at the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna began to counteract all of these weapons by releasing his feathered arrows. The result of the fight was that all of the soldiers and commander of Bhaumasura fell to the ground, their arms, legs, and heads separated from their trunks. And all of their horses and elephants also fell with them. In this way, all the weapons released by Bhaumasura were cut to pieces by the reaction of Lord's arrows. The Lord was fighting on the back of Garuda, and Garuda was also helping the Lord by striking the horses, the elephants, with wings and scratching their heads with his nails and sharpened beak. The elephants, feeling much pain by Garuda's attack on them, and they were all dispersing from the battlefield. So they ran, retreat, Bhaumasura also remained on the battlefield, and he engaged himself in fighting with Krishna. He saw that Krishna's carrier Garuda was causing great disturbance by his soldiers and elephants, and in great anger, he struck Garuda with all his strength, which defied the strength of the thunderbolt. Fortunately, Garuda was not an ordinary bird, and he felt the strokes given by Bhaumasura just as a great elephant feels the impact of a garland of flowers. Bhaumasura thus came to see that none of his trick would act upon Krishna, and he became aware that all of his attempt to kill Krishna would be frustrated. Yet he attempted for the last time, taking a trident in his hand to strike him. Krishna was so dexterous that before Bhaumasura could touch his trident, his head was cut off by the sharp Sudarsana chakra. Iniisip pa lang niya, wala na, tapos na yung laban. His head, illuminated by the earrings and helmets, fell down on the battlefield. On the occasion of Bhaumasura being killed by Lord Krishna, all the demons' relatives began to scream in disappointment. And the saintly person began to glorify the chivalrous activities of the Lord. Taking this opportunity, the denizens of the heavenly planets began to shower flowers on the Lord. So, there's this chatter wherein Lord Krishna is enjoying his pastime, protecting his devotee, liberating everyone to go back to the kingdom of God. And the relationship is about when the demons, they see Krishna in anger and they experience Krishna's wrath, transcendental anger. But it's all about his care and love for him. So we have a choice to be experiencing this wrath and anger, or we experience God love and compassion by following the process of pure loving service being taught to us by our instructing spiritual master and our spiritual master. At this time, the earth personified appeared before Lord Krishna and greeted him with great garland by Jananti jewels. She also returned the dazzling earrings of Aditi, bedecked with jewels and gold. She also returned the umbrella of Varuna, along with another valuable jewel, which she presented to Krishna. After this, the earth personified began to offer her prayers to Krishna, the Supreme Personality and Master of the world, who is also worshipped by great exalted demigods. She fell down in obeisances, in great devotional ecstasy began to speak. As we can recall, Mother Earth is so burdened by the demoniac kings who are ruling Bharatadvarsha, and the influence, it's a great weight upon her. And she went to Lord Brahma to have this relief of being unburdened. And Lord Brahma prayed to Lord Krishna to come down. And Lord Krishna instructed Lord Brahma through the heart when he sat in meditation on the shore of the ocean of milk. And he's given instruction that Lord Krishna will appear with his associate. So while he is performing his pastimes, there is this transcendental, eternal chatter wherein all the devotees, the demigods, the saintly person are enjoying God's pastime. So when we chant the holy names, we offer prayers, all glories to the assembled devotees. All the devotees, the parampara, when we chant the holy names, they are watching us. They are there because the holy names is inseparable from the devotees, the pure loving servant of Lord Krishna. Okay. Mother Earth now her desire, her longing to be protected by Lord Krishna. Now he's in the presence of the Supreme Person, the most lovable personality that is connected with her love and service. Okay? So this is her prayer. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is always present with four kinds of symbols, namely his conch shell, this lotus and club, and who is the Lord of all demigods. Please accept my respectful obeisances unto you, my dear Lord. You are the super soul, and in order to satisfy the aspiration of your devotees, aspiration, the longing of the devotee. So when we make progress in our service to Lord Krishna, when we chant the holy names, we develop a certain flavor of a longing that is all of us who are individuals according to our relationship with the Supreme Person. We have this longing, and we begin to appreciate the love, the shelter, the connection from hearing the pastimes of the devotees of God being protected by Him who are all rendering loving service. Okay? So we are given this opportunity to enter that world. And how is that done? When we are connected with these holy names that is descending, God Himself giving us this opportunity so we can enter that world of pure devotional service by remembering the transcendental glories of the Supreme Person with His loving servant. Okay? So it is He who is making it very easy for us. So we should see in ourselves where we are heading and how we relate to the Supreme Person, how we relate to God. My dear Lord, the lotus flower is grown out of your navel, and you are always decorated with a garland of lotus flowers. Your eyes are always spread like petals of the lotus flower, and therefore they are all pleasing to the eyes of others. Your lotus feet are so soft and delicate that they are always worshipped by your unalloyed devotees, and they pacify their lotus heart like hearts. I therefore repeatedly offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Lotus heart, pure heart. Okay? So, this body, our life, our heart, not this heart, our life. So, we must purify our life that has been covered by the influence of material nature. So, we can let the Lord be embracing us, loving us, until and unless we are not liberated from material desires and we are not making this progress, we can only experience glimpse and attraction. But when we become purified, we will enter that world, the lotus heart of the devotee, which is not touched by this material contamination. So all of us, in a truest sense, we're all living entities who are all transcendental to this material world. And we ask this question, how come we're here? Then Lord, Mother Earth prays, her prayer is this: you possess all kinds of religion, fame, property, knowledge, and renunciation. You are the shelter of the five opulences. Although you are all-pervading, you have nevertheless appeared as the son of Vasudeva. Please therefore accept my respectful obeisances. You are the original supreme personality of Godhead and the supreme cause of all causes. Only by your lordship is the reserva of knowledge, of all knowledge. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Personally, you are unborn. Still, you are the father of the whole cosmic manifestation. You are the reservoir of shelter and of all kinds of energies. This manifestive appearance of this world is caused by you, and you are both the cause and effect of this cosmic manifestation. Please therefore accept my humble obeisances. So that is just part of the prayer of Mother Earth. So I like to narrate to you real time, real situation now, that when we are blessed by the lotus feet of the devotee through a process that is eternal and transcendental, that is God's love and compassion. So if we look closely, the devotee like Narada Muni, who is a transcendental traveler, Paramahamsa, he travels and he blesses everyone. His blessing, his compassion, his wish, his desire is simply for us, the living entities, to be given this opportunity wherein we can be under the shelter of that relationship wherein we are always protected and what we are longing. Like the story we have heard, the eternal pastimes of Lord Krishna, wherein the devotees like Narada Muni who protects the living entity. So in this age of quarrel and confusion, Krishna's plan is manifested when we are able. It's always there, God's love and compassion for us. But due to a perverted, this false ego, this false consciousness, wherein we are contaminated by material desires, material contamination, we are not able to appreciate God's love for us. So we relate to God as someone who just simply protects us to give us something. Someone who we can lean while we struggle in this world. But if you are fortunate to come in contact, as of now, Lord Krishna manifesting himself as the holy names. And when we focus our life, our meditation, by using this body, the senses, to receive to the funnel of our ear, and we put ourselves in a situation wherein that opportunity comes, just like when the sun rises, the sunshine touches us, everything becomes clear. So when we come in contact with this loving servant who is not touched by all this material contamination, his lotus heart, who is pure, confidential, loving friend, who has this unflinching faith and loving surrender to the Supreme Person, we can now appreciate through the process that purifies us from material contamination to take shelter of his instruction and enter that world wherein we put ourselves to enter that world of a relationship with the Supreme Person which is pleasing to him. This love that we have inseparable from us is offered to the Supreme Person by our action, by our activities, because the living entity by nature is active, and our activities will now be directed upon the lotus feet or the transcendental world of pure devotional service. So I'll tell you this story, okay? This story, Lord Krishna has planned for all of us. And we also have plans for ourselves. So what we should do is our plans should be directed in harmony with his plan, because whatever his plan is, never goes wrong. It will always succeed. And it is all about his pleasure that we enter that world wherein we can be guided by what is eternally our true transcendental nature as eternally the loving servant of God, and in parallel, in harmony, that is what we call the process of meditation centered around bhakti or devotional service. Pure devotional service. So now we are here. So I'll tell you this story. One time in our travel in this world, our situation like us, you're given this opportunity to come in contact with God's grace and compassion and love, to relate to the Supreme Person, that you can open your heart, your mind in prayer. And just how to do that? All you have to do is chant the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it is the process of Lord Chaitanya who went into this path by guiding us to accept a bona fide spiritual master and filially, obediently, sincerely follow this instruction. And we should not hesitate because we were brought up in a Christian world and our guide is the Son, the beloved Son of God, Lord Jesus Christ. And His foremost and commandment is to love the Father with thy whole heart, thy whole mind, thy whole being. So the process we do offer, guided by our Gurudev, coming from the saintly person, Scripture, is a process that is eternal, is in harmony with the love of the lotus flower or the heart of the devotee, like the Son of God. So you are very safe because you will be guided by God's love. But to be able to appreciate that, we must follow a process to enter that world. Just if you're sick, you go to a physician, he gives you medication, and that medication will cure your disease, okay? What ailment you have. But the person whom you should follow should be a bona fide physician, not someone who just speculates, uses her mind, and teach you budul and be an authority as what you see in Facebook. Okay? This will not lead you to be achieving what is eternally your real treasure, your love, in connection with rendering service to the Supreme Person. So the process is already there, so you should check your situation. And you should check also your consciousness, where you're heading, what you really want. And you look closely, will you succeed in your endeavor? You check. Why are you struggling for survival when you're eternal? You will still exist eternally. The survival you're trying to struggle is a survival of trying to contain what will continually change. It's like embracing someone with a body made out of atoms, and when you embrace it, you leave the body. But if you embrace that and that person leaves, okay? You work so hard in this world, accumulating house. You think it will be your security, it will be your shelter. You're on your own, okay? You're on your own. But you are not able to see that God has a plan for all of us. So if you come in contact with this process, all what you have to do is follow the saintly person. Like the prayer of Mother Earth, the personification of Mother Earth, praying to Lord Krishna, longing for Lord Krishna to come to this planet, to protect, to unburden the load, because she feels everybody suffering from lust, anger, and greed, and it gives so much pain to the living entities who are on this planet. And that load cannot be unloaded by herself. So she went to Lord Brahma with all the saintly person and prayed. Lord Brahma appeared and she relayed to her her heart's desire, her longing to unburden what is very heavy for her, the sadness of the living entities who are suffering in this material world. So all of you here, all of us, in a truest sense, we're all suffering because of our outlook, our attitude, because we are on our own. So what we should do, look closely. There are laws here wherein you are not in control. Like a friend of mine who came in contact with Parampara. And now he's building he built a house on top of the mountain. And typhoon came and it was swept away. Okay? If he can understand that it's God's mercy with wisdom that we don't belong to this world. It is a sign already that why not enter the world that is eternal, devotional service. But he has this idea, I already paid for this land, but that land belongs to somebody. I already prayed for the rights. Okay, you're a squatter there. In a true sense, you're a squatter. And then you ask around, help me build my house. And I propose, why don't you come back to the world of devotional service? But he's so attached and influenced by the mode of passion, his control, his idea of what he wants to do for Lord Krishna. This is what makes us a stumbling block. That when we are guided by God, the spiritual master, he wants something. Krishna wants his plan. But because we have this freedom, we have this always rationalization influenced by the false ego. I have free will. I will serve Krishna according to what I want. Okay? So the process is not like that. My instructing spiritual master, our grandfather spiritual master, who is the dear spiritual master of Gurudev, he asked a glass of water from his disciple. Please give me a glass of water. And what happened? The disciple thinks, I will give my spiritual master a glass of milk. Okay. But he's asking for a glass of water. So all of you here, all of us, Lord Krishna tells us in Bhagavad Gita, just surrender unto me and I'll protect you. But the problem is we're surrendered to the desire in the mind. And we're trying to protect ourselves with our own endeavor. We have a plan of our own that is not in harmony with the plan of God. And that is a world that is completely a separation from what should be in harmony with our true transcendental nature as eternally the loving servant of the Supreme Person. So you look closely here at what we discussed. Mother Earth, the personification, he appeared and prayed with all the saintly person to Lord Brahma to appease his bereavement of this pain. And Lord Brahma prayed to Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna promised Lord Brahma that he will appear on Mother Earth, this earth, to unburden the load of Mother Earth. And this is what's happening. Krishna destroyed and killed all those demons who are making it hard for the devotees to render devotional service. Okay? Nothing goes or comes between that relationship if we come to the point of the pure heart or the lotus heart of the devotee, which all of us can achieve. The uncovering of what has covered us, this false ego. So before doing anything, this must be the foundation of our decision making. Will it be a shelter? Will it be guided by the Supreme Controller? Okay? Or will it be guided by the attempted controller? We even use, I will do activities to serve Krishna. Okay? To serve Krishna. I will engage in business. I will travel to raise money to serve Krishna. Okay, there's nothing wrong in that. But what if that is not what Krishna wants? And then you have a certain time in this world, God's love for you, and the opportunity to hear this knowledge, then you misuse it. Okay? Just like, why? I'm telling you this because there's no contract. No contract from anyone. It's like a contract that is absolute, that you will decide when you will leave. Okay? You don't know what will happen. Just like this person. But Krishna is so wonderful. He's so loving and compassionate. That's why I'm trying to tell you this, because there are living entities who came in contact with the holy names, Krishna. And they were now in a situation wherein the holy names, through the guidance of Parampara, the teachings, the process, they're engaging again in chanting the holy names. And now, they're in a situation wherein they have to leave the body. So in a situation wherein this person, who Krishna loves so much, it's arranged that he's in a place, and that place, he built a temple. But the process is about worshiping God also. And then Krishna's mercy, he came as the holy names and the teachings, and Parampara, the grace of our Gurudev. And the disciple of the Gurudev's instruction is to pass on as it is what they have received. So they chanted, the devotees of God chanted, and they begin to be attracted to what is sweet. And at the time, this person who is already in his old age, he's just sitting in a place. But the program now is the chanting of the holy names. So while he's there, as the clock ticks, tick, 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 and he's already 92, his body is 92 years old. But the program or the process is the Sankirtan, the eternal, transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And he's there. We cannot gauge. It's not for us to decide, because it's a relationship between that living entity and Lord Krishna. Because of Krishna's love for him, he's put in a situation wherein his families, all of them, his association, and this person who he associates are all devotees of Lord Krishna. Because our idea of devotees are, our community. That's nonsense. We are all member of the community of Lord Krishna. My faith. Ano yan? I am Iglesia. I am born again. Okay? No. Our eternal religion is love for God. Okay? Because that is what you have. That is inseparable from you. And it's misdirected upon this world, upon your control. So we must become free from this false ego. So after a while, he's leaving the body. So I came in contact with him, and he's just there, and he's just listening to the chanting while everybody's chanting. He stands, he sees, and he's happy. You cannot enter his world, but you can see the presence of the holy names touch him. Okay? Because he now in a situation where Vrindavan is there. The spiritual world is there. The chanting of Krishna's glories. And it can only be appreciated when you are guided by the pure loving servant, the resident of the spiritual world, the confidential loving servant of God. It is confidential because to enter that world, you must be introduced to that confidential world by the confidential friend of Lord Krishna to Lord Krishna. And the holy names is given to all of us. That's why our Gurudev, our grandfather spiritual master, tells us, if we throw jewels to the pigs, to the hogs, you throw jewels, okay, pearl garlands, they will not appreciate it because they are filthy. They live and model in shit and dirty things, okay? But us, we're like pigs in these material worlds, covered by material body, this nature. So when we chant the holy names, we begin to see what encumbers us, what distances us from this world. And then when the holy names touches our heart, we experience a longing because love for the Supreme Person and His love for us is the sunshine that gives warmth to the heart. And we begin to appreciate. I want to chant Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. But the mind is so much attached to the world. So as we go along chanting, we become purified. We enter that world. We begin to appreciate how Krishna loves everyone. That His plan is simply His love for us to bring us back to that world. But our mind is so much engrossed here. So what happens is that when we chant, our mind becomes purified. Our heart becomes purified. And then we begin to experience God's compassion. Then our world now is directed upon, our activities are directed upon real love for someone we love. Because it's based upon spiritual tenets, spiritual foundation, that when I say to my husband, I love you, I really love you. Because you see that person. When you say to your child, I love you, I care for you, so you take care of that child, your husband, your family, so you can all together be happy, eternally serving Krishna. So the direction of your world now is not a world of control, but rather putting yourself in your eternal transcendental position as eternally the loving servant of God, and you are able to bear the brunt of what will be taken away from you. Because in the end, it will be taken away from you. Okay? So in this case, this person was put in a situation where the holy names, Vrindavan is there. So he knows he's living. And the transcendental love of the Supreme Person guided him. Because he's just laying down, and now the devotees are around him. So this person chanted, and everybody were chanting the holy names while he's living. Okay? So there's this story of the great-grandfather Bhisma. Great-grandfather Bhisma, the grandsire, he is one of the Mahajana, the authority of the Vedas, Krishna. So at the time he's leaving the body, he taught us this science. For 6 months, he stayed and he decided, because he's a great Vaishnava, he's transcendental to this material conditioning. He decides when he will leave. But all of us here, you don't decide when you will leave, except you want to commit suicide. Because you're miserable, you think you're the body. If I kill my body, I'm gone. Okay? So now, what I'm trying to tell is you must be very careful. Okay? You have so many plans. And what are plans? It's all about fulfilling your control, your desire, which is guided by material nature, to stay in this world. Because we want to play God, to play Lord, to be in control. So what we should do, we should put ourselves in the hands of God. So this person, Krishna's love, arranged it that at the time he's leaving, there's chanting. So the passing of this person is the passing of a saintly person. No more load. And what is that load? Your attachment to this world, your control. So let's continue this tomorrow. So I like to discuss pa, pero you have work to do. Okay, let's continue. So put it in mind. Will you just throw it away? So, para bang you're running and running to the goal but never reaching the goal because the mind is not eternal. Run and run. Para bang, have you seen, if you can, your body, we don't jog anymore, but we have this treadmill. You run and run. You have this bicycle with no wheels. Okay. Trying to be healthy. You run on the treadmill until the body cannot run anymore. So, if it comes to a stop, what will you do? Okay? You experience the pain. I'm leaving my son, my husband, because your heart is upon this world. Is it clear? Okay, let's continue this tomorrow so we can appreciate God's love and compassion. So now we relate to Krishna, to Govinda, not with, oh, you're so powerful, give me this, give me that. Okay? And then when you're not given, I don't believe in you. There is no God. Or you follow a certain process. God, don't let my mother die. Because what you want to do, you want God to do your will. My God. Okay? My God. Okay? Help so I can be in control. Don't let my mother die. Okay? And then your mother dies. Your house gets burned. Your husband leaves you. Okay? Your sons and daughter don't follow you. I hate God. So if you enter that world that is transcendental, guided by God, you will just experience this transcendental world that in your time while you're in this body, your time because you're given this time, you see it as Krishna's love. And you persevere. Ibig sabihin nun, you persevere with all the austerities, the sacrifice you do. But you are not deterred to continue because what you are doing is you're running, getting closer and closer to what you're longing for, Krishna's love for you. And then you see differently. Okay. Is it clear? Sorry about namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Krsna.
Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Chaitanya. Bhajan Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vatsudeva Bhagavinda. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Nandai Gorakaruna Swarupaya Radha Krishna